Perfect. Then in that case, I think I mentioned the email. Don't do anything until I give you a call back, and I will explain all to you. Okay? You're part of an institutional trade with Apple. Okay? The holders of the institutional position. This is unfortunately down to the current way the market is. The holders of the institutional position, in other words, the major parties holding the institutional block that we have at the moment, they have elected, in order to support the stock price, in order to make sure it doesn't drop too much, they have elected sell-out amount of shares at 2,000 shares per person. Okay. In other words, we either have to sit and wait to stop, or because of the wishes of the majority, or alternatively, if we want to get out, we have to have 2,000 shares so that it can be bought back by the position. Okay. Now at the moment, you've got 1,800 shares in your account. So what we need to do, if we're going to want to sell out, and the institutional holders let us do so, we need to increase the amount of stock that we're holding to 2,000 shares, which is by purchasing the additional 200, which is what we had sent over to you yesterday. Do you follow me? So first of all, don't worry about it because we'll work on a solution. But do you understand so far what I'm saying? Right. Well, here's the technique. This is the solution. Okay. Now, obviously, you've got a deadline, and we need to get that money out of the account. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. It's a bit cheeky. We are going to, with immediate effect, what we call short sell the position. Okay. So we're actually going to sell 2,000 shares of Apple in your account today. Okay. And because we will write it as what we call a short sell on the accounting books here, what it will do is it will give you an available cash balance of 2,000 shares of Apple, which, let's say, for example, Apple is trading at, let's call it 140, okay, just roughly. That will give you then an available cash balance, whatever 2,000 shares will be worth at that point. It's about $280,000, okay? Now, what we then do is, because it's a short sale, we transfer the funds to you, okay? So we can still make Friday. Okay, we put this all through on the system today, urgent transfer, so that we make the deadline on Friday. Okay. Now, what we need you to do in the meantime is cover the short sale on what we call a short covering arrangement. What I need you to do tomorrow, obviously it's a bit late now, is arrange a transfer of the $24,000 or so, and send me a copy of that balance. Okay, of that transaction. What will happen is that the funds will almost cross in midair, okay? Our 280 going to you, and your covered short sale position to make up for the deficit of the 24,000 on the trade, okay? What will basically happen is your funds will clear with you on Friday, the 280, and probably, if we look at a couple of days from your account to be received here, you're probably then looking at the funds from your side being cleared with us probably Monday or Tuesday next week. It doesn't really matter because at that point you've got the $280,000 anyway. It's a technique that we call short covering, and it's something that is incredibly effective when we have situations like this arising to make sure that clients can still meet deadlines without having to go through the rigmarole of having to settle first. Does that make sense? Okay. So, can I confirm 280,000 to your account, the same details that you've given me already, and I'll send you a copy of it. If you can arrange, will you be sending the 24,000? Okay. Is it possible to cover, because what I'm going to do is just basically take your word for it, is it possible to cover the short position tomorrow? In other words, to settle the funds in the morning? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In my opinion, what's important is the transfer going the other way, which is the money that comes to you. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the system today. If you can send me a copy, then it's what we call short covering. We cover the short position, money goes back, and then we'll just send you a receipt to close the position off Wednesday, Thursday next week if the money takes a while. It doesn't really matter. It's not important. You can pay for the house, we cover the position, and then we'll work going forward about what it is that obviously you want to do. But if we do it that way, then we're completely covered on it. Okay. Definitely very frustrating, I know. The issue that we've got with this particular type of thing is when you're in an institutional position, you are bound by the institutional holders of it, okay? Basically means, and it's quite irritating in this respect, is that it's not that they change the rules as they go along, but you are bound by not their regulations. That's again the wrong word. What you're basically bound by is you're bound by their investment criteria, if you like, which is fine. It's not normally an issue, but it's frustrating that they take so long to respond. I know, and then they expect, like everybody in this situation, they expect everybody else to simply just jump. When they say jump, we're supposed to just say, yeah, sure, no problem. And it gets a bit frustrating. The Apple deal, they want the stock to go to 150. Don't know really why, but they're adamant that nobody sells out before we get to the 150 mark, unless they have an amount of stock that can be sold internally. So you have to kind of broker a deal with them. It's a little bit tricky. It's not like investing on a regular market. We've done very well, but I'll make sure you make that deadline. I'll definitely make sure it works. Okay. That's correct. Now, we spoke about it. Because of the value of Apple at the moment at 140, okay, you have a nice round number of 280 to come back to you, okay? We can either do this one of two ways. Either I can send it's easier for me to do it this way because we operate then in round figures. We sell the 2,000 shares of Apple at 140, okay, and send the money back. That's $280,000 comes straight back to you. We don't leave any money here. We just do a sell and repatriate order, which would be the best thing to do with this particular timescale. Okay. Now, what you can choose to do is the 24,000 as invoiced yesterday simply brings the account balance back to zero. Okay, so it just covers the position. However, if you want to add, instead of, let's say it's 24,270, if you want to add, let's say another, well, let's call it 25,000 exactly, just add another $700 or so, that will just keep your account open. It keeps it in credit, and it would just keep it open until you decide to bring funds back in. But I will certainly have a look through it in that case. Gosh, you've got everything there on everything. So, and this is, I'm assuming that you're an entrepreneur in the medical field, so your other businesses would all be based in the medical industry. Excellent stuff. Perfect. Well, look, in that case, I'll make sure you can buy your house. I'll get that done. Let's just make this nice and easy so we work in round figures. Okay, we'll send back 280, and if you can send 25,000 tomorrow, I'm going to send you a new trade confirmation for that and bank details. And I'll just tack on to the end of it in the addition. So I'll just tack on the $730 or so. So it's exactly 25. I'll credit the $730 on the account just to keep it active, and then when the sale goes through, either myself or James probably would be the one. He can then assist you with the $100,000